All right. Hello, welcome everyone. This is Halen House's Healing Focus for June, and I am Maria Cookson, and then with Cheryl Mills. We want to welcome you all to watching this, who are watching live or listening to this, or for those who are watching the replay. This is Halen House's monthly Healing Focus Educational Talk Series. And today we have the Harmonic Sound Health, Tune Into Your Home Note with Donna Wolf. And just a quick intro of who Halen House is. If you have not heard of us before, we are a nonprofit in Central Oregon whose mission is healing the root cause and effects of trauma, creating health, resilience, and wholeness. We want to provide education, tools, resources, and support to those in our local community and to the wider community of the World Web, for those to help learn on the core aspects of trauma and how that can affect a person. We know both from research and our personal experiences that there are 6 areas that trauma can get stuck and affect people, which is physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, nutritional, and social. But there are a wide variety of opportunities to heal and build resilience from trauma. A little crazy today. So anyway, taking a breath. Through our Healing Focus series, we want to share some of the options of these different tools and resources that are available through the holistic and complementary treatments from practitioners in our area, and we know that there are many in your area, whoever is watching live or the replay. So please check out our practitioners from our website, or if you want to catch someone in person, please look into your area for some of these different types of resources. So today we have Donna Wolf, who is whose passionate curiosity about spirituality, mental, emotional, and physical harmony rewarded her with deep healing from anxiety triggered by food and fears. Since the 1990s, she has remained an avid student of energy anatomy and loves helping others harmonize their energetic bodies. Donna's adept work with sound and light is integrated in local and remote sessions from Bend, Oregon. She is a certified practitioner in biofield tuning, healing angel protocol, Essential Light Institute's gift of the body, access bars, and Reiki 3. In addition, she teaches sound bridging, a simple daily self-aware care practice that refines our energy, awareness, and use of language. So today, she will be talking and we will be experiencing harmonic sound health. Tune into your home note. During this experiential hour, Donna will share self-aware care sound bridging practices that support tuning into harmony from the inside out. Special attention will be placed on triggered and tender situations using genuine curiosity and your keen auditory, visual, and kinesthetic perceptions. You will recognize stress as vibrational memories that sing you awake. Head to your heart where harmony starts with sound as support. Align with qualities of innate strength as your true ground of being. use sound to find and bridge the gaps from discord to harmony, and choose personal practices to feel safe within your own sphere of influence. So it is my great pleasure to welcome Donna, and I will pass it to you.
Thank you so much. It's always really easy to write those elements down. And then when I start thinking, then I must have gone through the material 100 times and try to figure out the best way to write it up. So thank you so much. I'm really honored to be here, and I love what Healing House is doing. I think it's crucial on all levels. And healing from trauma or any other, life-changing event or sorrow, even the daily sorrows, is really healing our memory of who we are. And I get goosebumps when I say that, because in my days of depression, I knew who I was, that I was really a loving, happy soul, but I couldn't access that part. I would be happy one moment and do it a certain food that I didn't even know was a problem. And an hour later, I would be pulling, food out of the pantry, or, getting really nervous with my kids, or going to hide and try to meditate so that I could come back to the family as myself. And so my search began with an acupressure session in which the woman ran my energy. I was so nervous that we just wanted to see if my nervous system itself could get calmed down. And she put a hand on my shoulder and a hand on my leg on 2 acupoints, and all this energy started flooding my body. And I started to cry. I said, "What did you do to me? I came here to not be sad." And she said, "Love is flowing through you." And I was both in my body and beyond my body, having inner experiences with myself as soul, with my dad who had passed, 20, 30 years prior, and with beings of light who said, "You are loved, and you're here to just find your way back home." So that home note really is the love that we are. And sound healing is the most wonderful way to support remembering that, because as we speak, we can hear the lightness in our voice when it comes from our authentic self, whether we're setting boundaries or saying what's so for us and what we want to be engaged in, or even when we're angry and the energy is rushing out of us in a torrent. That's an interesting way of the body, mind, and spirit saying, "Whoa, you've got some memories that have been triggered." And those memories actually live in this energy bubble around us over time, and I'll share some things about that. They also live in a cellular memory of the body. So I call the work Harmonic Sound Health that I do, because we're actually allowing ourselves to remember that we are not all of this stuff that's happening to us. We're in harmony with ourself as soul, because we're willing to pay attention to the vibrations, the emotions, the thoughts that interrupt our well-being, not judge them at all, to say, "Whoa, there's some energy moving. I wonder whose that is. Is it mine? Is it my ancestral lineage? Is it social culture?" And learning how to tune in to what's true about ourselves and about the situation. When we meet the situation for what it is, we have a much broader view of circumstances from the soul perspective. So we've heard the saying, keep your feet on the ground and your head in the clouds. The clouds are actually that up periscope where we want to see what's going on for the greater good, why this particular set of circumstances, both the delightful ones and the difficult ones are here. A quick example of that is yesterday, I was taking a walk and my husband came up behind me in his golf cart and said, well, I'll take you for a ride. And I thought, I'm supposed to be walking. And I hear my inner voice say, get in the cart and enjoy the ride. And, so he said, where do you want me to drop you off? And I told him, and he took off. And as I got down the hill, the woman who I had done a sound session with the previous day drove up in her car. I would not have been in that exact place at that exact time without him having the invitation and the divine design. And we had this wonderful conversation about the benefits of the session. So since we are coming from other activities, what I'm going to do is bring us in to the harmony that we have inside. And what I invite you to do is imagine that you are standing, and I'll actually do this. I'm going to stand as if I'm in the center of a beautiful bubble that's just my own love-filled space. And there's light coming down through the top of my head, and it's going all the way through my feet down into earth. And Mother Earth is sending out this beautiful supportive energy for my physical body, while Spirit's sending the love through to all of my whole body being, physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. And as I play the bowl, I invite you to think about a quality of consciousness that you love about yourself. Maybe it's your patience. Maybe it's your humor. Anything that you're willing to acknowledge is really true about you. And as I play the bowl, feel the vibration of that surrounding your body and emanating from the center of you out into the world. I'm also going to sing a song that I don't know whether I'll sing it in tune or not. The message is more important than the tone of my voice. We stand centered in beautiful golden light, informed by sacred sound that guides us along our path and is always audible, even when we have the noise of judgmental thoughts and worries and fears. The sacred sound current is always flowing. I am soul, and I made this earth my home while I'm here. I will lend a golden ear to the sounds that are ever flowing round me. Singing divine love's always here. As I listen with this golden heart of mine, I hear love calling me day and night. So I answer with a hue in all I say and do. Singing divine love's always here. you. Bring yourself back. I'm going to read those words. I take voice lessons, but when I have to sing by myself, the sound crinkles. But the message is really beautiful. I am soul, and I made this earth my home. While I'm here, I will lend a golden ear to the sounds that are ever flowing around me, singing divine love's always here. As I listen with this golden heart of mine, I hear love calling me day and night. So I answer with the hue in all I say and do, knowing divine love's always here. And I wrote that song when I was in the midst of lots of depression, and Spirit would send me these different Harmony heart songs to remind me to come home to that. So we really are composers of our own awareness. And I have some pictures to show you about that. This is, oops, there we go, a human cell. And the picture is in magenta because that is the color of the cell when love is flowing through it, which is really pretty fascinating. These are some other, that person happens to be a healer, and the pictures were taken with Kirlian photography. And this is a healthy cell with no sound. And this is a healthy cell with sound. So imagine that you're walking around and you're kind of, your body's pretty healthy, but you're in your thoughts going, oh boy, okay, I got a lot to do today. And then you see somebody you love and go, oh, I love you so much. I'm so glad I just got to see you. And that's how your sound will open up. This is another image of cotton and prayer with and without sound. And I just find that fascinating because cotton is a living plant. And they were able to see how the cell changed as we did that. And then this one's quite important. This is the man that was singing, and they took some blood out and while he was singing, and then dropped in the Kirlian photography, and we're able to see that his cells went into this. So one other interesting thing, this is important because if you're coming home to your home notice, whatever you sing that reminds you of the love that you are has a huge difference. And you can listen to music on the radio. This is an interesting, different image. Okay, so it's not just a heart shape that comes out. And this one as well. Let's see that. Yeah. So your blood and the atoms of your being are filled with it. This is cancer cells. And the author of this book who did the research was singing specific notes to the cancer cells.
Can I ask a question real quick?
Yep.
That's fascinating, Donna. What is that book?
It is called The Tao of Sound.
Sound. Okay, thank you.
It's just a fabulous, fabulous book about acoustic sound healing. And so let me get my notes back because I went on a bird walk there. So the recognizing the effects of stress is just a beautiful opportunity to return to harmony. And I want to show you, if you can share the screen. I have a couple of images that I'd like to show you and talk about. And then I'm going to show you how to work the, okay, so does that mean I can, yes, could you just show the voice of our gentleman there? This is a image of a cymatic of the voice when the individual is singing Hugh, or I'm sorry, singing Om, I believe. Do you have, can you bring that other one up,
Oh,
Maria?
the video.
Yeah, and we'll just show that.
Yeah.
And then I want to open so I can share my screen.
Oh, okay. Let me see here. Let me try this again.
Okay. So we saw the, okay, I can move this.
You see, you can see that now?
Yeah, can you, I don't think I can start it with my thing. There we go. So we showed you the blood cells when sound was recorded on them. And what I want you to see here is a vocal quality of Anders' voice. It's an image called a cymatic. And the reason this is of value is that when we're speaking, actually it's a bubble of sound that comes out of our mouths. It's not really a wave like this, but that's the way that it's generally presented. And this bubble of sound goes out to the other person that you're speaking to, and their energy bubble can absorb that. So if you've ever been in a situation where somebody was yelling at you, and you felt like the vibration just took you over, it's because these sound vibrations roll from us into the world. And the same thing when you feel love from somebody and they smile and say hi, and in their voice you immediately hear and feel the love.
Can you do it, Donna, or do you want me to do it?
No, you can do it. I can't. Oh, there's one. Okay.
Okay.
So
I will start that.
okay, and then we've got now we have my view, so that's really good, but I don't know if I can. So that is, watch the center point. That's the still point around which all the vibrations are. Notice that it gets rather muted and distorted, and then it will go back into a clear. And then the value of that is because you can hear and see the effects of the voice. The other value of it is that you saw the very center point, and that's the still point of energy. Like, do you think of the eye of the hurricane? So when we remember that we are in this essence river of divine love and that sound current, then the changes that we feel in our energy, from tension to happiness to ease to busyness, you name it, that central point is a still point that we go back and forth to during change. So why do I share that? Because you don't need to be afraid of feeling all the different trauma emotions and anger and sadness and yada yada, and then return back to happiness. It is not bipolar to have all those experiences, right? our culture has decided that we should name, what it's like to have feelings that are different than happiness. And we really don't need to do that. We can come home and say, wow, where did that energy show up? Why was it? Now, what I'd like to show you is on my screen. So how does that work? Do I have a view of being able to share my screen? I don't. Let me see if I click this.
You should be able to.
Okay. Open system preference. Oh, okay. Maybe it'll do it. Maybe it won't. Well, we won't worry about it. We won't take time.
Donna,
Yeah.
sorry, I'm just going to pipe in here. If you just click on share screen, another screen will pop up.
Yeah.
You're going to show so see if whatever you want to share is on there as a window.
Okay. It just said my desktop and it clicked ask for preferences and I don't know what.
Okay, so so from your desktop, go back to your desktop and see if you can just pull up whatever it is that you wanted to share.
Okay. And maybe it'll just share it.
And then when you go back to share screen, it should be one of the windows there and you can click on it. But if it's a video,
No.
It's not showing up.
No, it asked me system preferences. Well, that's all right. I'll do it a different way. And
Sorry about that.
that's okay. That's okay. We have a map. This is a simple version of the map. But in biofield anatomy, we've been able to map out, the founder mapped out all of the emotional experiences that the body records over lifetimes. And so when we're using tuning forks, we're actually going through that space and finding elements of tension that are not matching up with the joy and ease and natural essence that you are. So I'm going to show you a bit about how that works. And certainly thinking right now that we could re-record this later and have it even more coherent. So
It's also the joys of live TV.
This is the first time I've done a live thing about this. So here's another wonderful image of our biofield. So the energy moves through us and all of our thoughts and feelings and memories and experiences are stored in the cellular memory and also out in this field. That's our very own personal sphere of influence. The collection of data in here is a massive library from ancient times to the present because of the way our bodies and fields are organized. So what happens is we can take tuning forks, and I don't know that you'll be able to hear this. Are you able to hear it?
Yes.
Okay, and we tune our bodies with the intent of coming back to the quality that will be most supportive as a ground of being. Yeah, like we did with the wonderful singing bowl. And I said, focus on a quality. So let's say we're just going to use humor today because it's helpful when we're feeling a little awkward about this. And what I'm going to do is look into my body first. This is an exercise you can use of where do I feel the humor when I think about a fun time with somebody who just I get to laugh with all the time. You might feel an energy in your heart, you might feel it in your torso, you might feel your feet start dancing, right? All of those are valid. Any place you feel the humor, but you go, I just can't seem to call that humor up when I'm in a stressful situation. And I know that humor will help break the tension you know, at least even if it's just myself telling me a little joke, you know. So I would like you to just let your hands move around your body and see, where does humor get stopped? It's like, I want to be so humorous, but it's like I feel stuck in a little, you know, stuffy place. There you go. So now I'm feeling one right over here. And notice that that is right here around my throat chakra. So I can't speak the humor to break up the tension, because maybe somebody will think I'm being rude, right? So I'm going to take my tuning fork and come out to this area beyond my body. And I'm going to start combing this area with intent to free up my humor. And what I hear intuitively inside me is, that's not funny, dear. You know, that's not funny. You have to be polite. That's not funny. And I didn't just make that up. It was like, that's what I just heard in this moment. Now we're tuning me to humor, but we're finding where humor gets blocked. So somewhere in my youth, as I and others were making jokes, we also heard that sarcasm, you know, or humor that wasn't, you know, quite in line with the other person's state of consciousness is got to be, you know, we really have to be respectful of that and think before we speak, right? So as I work in sessions with people, I will stay with that place until the tension there lifts and lightens up and is absorbed by this frequency of peace that I'm using. This is doesn't matter which one I'm using, it happens to be a 285 frequency, but it's a frequency that supports bringing balance into the body. And in the process, my tuning fork will come closer and closer and closer to the center of my body. And what that's doing is bringing the biophotons of light that were stuck there, and oh yeah, but I can't speak, it would be really bad, back into me, so I can, you know, have more peace and a choice in the matter. I would like to have you imagine some quality that you have not had, you know, peace of mind with, that you go, oh, I get so impatient with this. I really need patience. And what I'm going to do is strike my tuning fork, and it may be that you can hear the sound, it may be that you can't, but I invite you to feel patience more available in your biofield and your body. And as you center yourself in patience, just like we did at the beginning, where you feel the light of that patience being sent through you, you can sing the word patience, or you can sing the word hue, which is the God code of the sound from which we were created. Boy, right there. And what I'm hearing in the patience and impatience is, I want to be patient because I really want to be helpful and kind, but my nervous system is feeling jagged. Ooh. So breathe from your heart. Breathe the sound of hue or patience through, there you go, through your nervous system. In your breath. The breath is really important for balancing the nervous system. And I'm going to play the bowl as well. And this is just one of the ways that we actually recognize stress as a vibrational memory. Sing in the patience that is your divine nature. Sing with the patience you know as love. It's a memory because you had an experience in other lifetimes and in childhood where impatience was around you. And your body absorbed that. And then you had an experience where someone was beautifully patient with you, and your body absorbed that. As you accept the impatience as natural, you actually head to your heart where the harmony starts, because you're calling forth the memory of patience as your ground of being. And as soon as we do that, we align with that quality of strength, and your internal voice, your soul essence memory will start to pause your physical voice so you can hear what is the best thing to say to yourself or to the other person relative to the circumstances that are activating impatience. And I want you to notice when you say those words, it's like really treating a little child who doesn't have any clue what's going on. You go, it's okay, honey. You're going to be really fine. You're safe. We're going to take care of this. We just have to be patient. So we want to ground you. Now, the word just be patient, the instruction is not going to support anything if it's a command. But if you say, take a breath and sing, because you're a human, and that sound of hue is the love that you are that knows patience, a really quiet, still quality that will allow you to open to the answer to the problem. Just feel right now what your body sensations are, and if they may differ from before we started here. And then I'd love to have you share when you come back into the group setting. Would you like to share what you felt, Maria?
Yeah. Thank you, Donna. Feel a lot more peaceful, and just felt like into myself more. And I felt an expansion besides a calmness, but like my body and my spine actually expanding.
It's settled and expanded simultaneously, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah. And so that was, besides, I can see besides there was a little stress before things started here. But I can see the memory. There's still cell memory
Mhm.
from things in my past. So it's a nice gentle reminder of what stillness and then using sound.
Yeah, we don't have to be, we're going to be feeling the effects of it, right? I mean, that just is normal, but the turning to the sound helps to transmute the vibration. And one of the teachers is Dr. John Belew, and he is kind of the granddaddy of tuning forks. He 52 years ago started working with tuning forks and creating them. And he's a psychiatrist and a musician and healer, and he was doing some research in an anechoic chamber in which all sound is removed. The only sound he can hear is of his own body. And he had just left a subway in New York City. And he said there was an argument about something. And when he got into the anechoic chamber, his nervous system was screaming, literally, just making this horrible screaming sound. So what he did is he struck 2 tuning forks. Maybe it was one, but this one is what he shows us right now in the trainings. And in just super short time, the tuning fork vibrations normalized his nervous system because they create coherence in the brain. And what he's showing us now is that as we hold tuning forks to our head with no need for analysis paralysis, just a simple introduction of sound, that the body and the nervous system will start to settle down, because even the cells, the skin, hears the sound. And he's doing a program on the Shift Network right now, and one of his exercises is to move the tuning forks around your body and dance with them, because the biofield itself is transmitting all of these sounds. So imagine, just like he was in the subway, your body's picking all of that up. So when you're working with tuning forks in this way, you can calm all the noise. And just like we did with patience, you can start to feel your own energy bubble. Okay, both of these are really good. Settle down and become more coherent. So the space in which you are living and having your being in the moment can become coherent. The other master teacher I've worked with is Vicki Dodd, who does Sacred Soundworks as her program, and she sounds the body. And it is really fascinating because it's very vulnerable. However, what she learned in all of her years of somatic work, and she started her work in the 60s and 70s, is that we come home to the hue. So I'm going to demonstrate again. And pretty much I can guarantee that you'll say, oh, I don't want to do that. This sounds really weird. Oh, it's not comfortable. But I'll just show you what happens. When I started preparing for this weeks ago, and then even today, I was like, And notice my hands, they naturally kind of came back to center. I'm not saying, oh, that's part of the thing, you have to come back to center. That my hands just kind of did that, right? She has another way of doing it where you say your name, and that also helps to move energy out. So Donna, 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 and it will come back to a hum. After you get all the warble and gurgle out, it naturally, the voice naturally comes back to the hum. So these are helpful to know about because we can go to practitioners and spend thousands of dollars. I could have bought several houses with everything that I've spent over my 45 years trying to figure out how to be with my body and understand what makes nervousness happen. And it's complex. It's really complex because the brain itself goes through so many biochemical changes just from a thought alone, right? And then combine what you eat that your body's allergic to. And that's a lot of what fritzed my circuits, is because I was brought up on sugar. And so I was just going to have a cookie every time everybody else did. It didn't work so well. When we start to create a new relationship with our body and the sound of love and our presence with ourselves as a soul who's evolving in life fluctuations, as opposed to a person whose personality is programmed for chaos, so many more things can happen that help us. And I think what I'd love to do is, I've been thinking about this, have another time to talk with everybody where we just choose one element of that and go into a little bit more depth, because I wanted to give a bigger overview, and that's a lot of information. Yeah, so tell me, what else can we do for your audience?
Well, I guess, well, thank you so much, Donna. A lot of good information, but very poignant information, and I think we need this coming. Does anyone have any questions specifically, or that you want to ask Donna?
I actually do. You mentioned, Donna, that using the tuning forks to kind of bring yourself back into coherence. Is that something you would recommend somebody do, is just buy tuning forks to do that?
Sorry about that. Yes, Dr. Ballou has a kit. It's on biosonics.com, and it's the two individual forks and this weighted fork. And what you do with the weighted fork is you actually put it on your body, and it sends the sound waves deep into the bones and the rivers of living waters that are in our system. If you don't want to have tuning forks, it's fine, because you have your voice. And I'll tell you, the hue and a lot of the sacred Sanskrit words, santosha is another beautiful word that means contentment in Sanskrit. So if you sing santosha, santosha, or just repeat it, santosha, 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 but you're putting attention on the vibration of contentment in your body. What we found is that often the Sanskrit will bridge the gaps from tension to ease faster than the English, because people are so accustomed to all of the ways that we use language, English language. And so it breaks up the thought forms. And then the last piece I do want to mention is access bars. That is really the most wonderful, fascinating physical modality that I could recommend, because it is defragging the brain's computer, and it literally flushes out energies that are locked into control and all sorts of other facets of thought. And this is an image, this is actually online as well, of points that are held. And as we do these for ourselves, for our families, for our clients, there's just this quiet space that opens up. All the chatter seems to go away. And the body, if you look on YouTube at access bars, there is one about neurology. I believe his name is Dr. Fannin. And he shows a brain coherence map before and after 1 hour of access bars treatment. The brain is super coherent, and the neuroscience folks are just blown away by it. Another doctor, naturopath, shows the effects of thermometry, where it shows the body's heat waves and where tension is, and then makes a graph of that. And where there's things that are really out of balance, the colors start to change to a more balanced state. All because we're working with very specific points that have stored electrical currents about experiences and thoughts and ways of being that we think we should have, would have, could have been. It's fascinating to me, and it's now a major part of my work. So there's really wonderful tools, and I'm happy to provide a list of them for you, and actually how best trauma folks can benefit from them. A lot of it is letting go of the analysis paralysis part, because the amygdala picks up on, I wanted every member in my family to understand me so they could change the way we interacted, so I wouldn't have to be afraid that I was doing something wrong, right? Or that my body, I wanted them to see me, not what was going on with my body. But all of that was stored amygdala trauma from the past, not being able to explain myself, who knows, any number of things. But when you bring that understanding of the wholeness together of body, mind, and spirit and memory, so much healing can occur. Somebody mentioned the other day that a talk therapist had said to them, well, you're in your car and you smell this poop. And you go, oh, what is that terrible smell? And you open up your trunk and you see this huge pile of manure. And you have a choice. Well, let's just poke around in there. I wonder what's in there. Why is it with me? I better figure this out. Well, there's corn here. I wonder why corn is, But if the healing is really intentional, that you're willing to give up the need to go back and retrain the brain to think only of that, you will take that pile of manure out and you'll keep going. You're not going to forget the stuff that was in the manure, but you don't have to dig around and find it all to think that that's the part that's going to heal you. The fact that that was shared from a therapist who is working with multiple modalities in the somatic realm, I just thought that was phenomenal. So anything else, Cheryl? I kind of don't know if I answered all the questions.
Oh, no, that was great. Thank you, Donna. And we would really appreciate, a list of things that people can use on their own. The only other thought that I had was that that seems like that would be really valuable in working with kids.
Yes, it's tremendous. And in fact, they have videos of access bars with children on YouTube. And these children are so happy because they're giving each other, they're in schools and they're taking a break from their daily activities and they're running the bars on each other to clear the circuits. And they say, boy, we're really happy. We're not fighting and we're not afraid of tests anymore. And they have them from elementary school up to high school where the kids are talking.
Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, love
And
it.
we do have a local trainer here in Bend. And if ever you want to gather, you know, folks in your circle from the, you know, who are working to heal trauma, I will be happy to host an, you know, an experience, an introductory experience for that, and then a training.
Oh God, that would be great.
It's really magical. And
Yeah.
I'm happy to serve anybody with any of these modalities and share with you what you can do. My fees are priceless, I say, because you can bring me flowers or you can honor your own budget. It really doesn't matter. The most important thing to me is that we have the tools for self-care, because it gets very expensive having to go back and forth to therapy in all of the manner. And it's also very expensive to hold on to the pain in our bodies and think there's really nothing possible that we'll have to live with this. I really thought I would have to live with it for, you know, from the time I was a teen until I was in my 40s. Yeah, and 50s.
Well, that's beautiful, Donna, that you were able to find these things and release that, because I'm sure probably many people feel like, you know, all that anxiety and so many things exactly like you that have, you know, that they feel like they can't have any change. So.
And there is the, my last thing, the brain science has improved dramatically, and you can have your brain tested and scanned with the Loretta machine, and it will show you the areas, you know, the amygdala or the executive function area, where you can see where the heat is. Turned out that we got to see that my brain was very hot. As soon as I'd get nervous, my brain would heat up, and that would amplify the anxiety, even though I had nothing to be anxious about. So we retrained the brain in that way, and also not to be afraid of exploring what I call supplements. Medications are sometimes valuable if you find the right one, simply because the circuitry is broken. But we have a very huge, you know, issue around drugs, and it's so hard. But when you understand the mechanism that is being addressed in the brain, then you can monitor it. And I believe you do not have to be on meds forever if you find the mechanism. Do you know what I'm saying? And if you do say, oh, I'm actually on meds for this because that mechanism cannot be repaired. My son had a head trauma as a child, and his mechanisms cannot be repaired because of the brain trauma injury. However, they fine-tune because they now know what actually works for certain areas of the brain. So just take the stigma off of your care, right? Be curious and be willing to love yourself enough to find what will work for you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Donna. Wise words and loving words, and that's what we need for ourselves. I know. Seems like more and more of all of us, we've forgotten these things, and life has gotten very complex, but it can be simplified and rebalanced. So we are so thankful for you coming on today and speaking about this and sharing your story and giving us some tonal tuning health and Harmonic Health. So we will put the information with that Donna sends out on the with the replay. And we want to thank you everyone for joining us today and for listening and watching the replay, and look forward to next month. You check out our website and to see when our next series will be. And we will hope everybody has a blessed day.
Thanks so much. Thanks for the honor.